I can't believe this fast-paced, chaotic, out-of-the-box first-person shooter slash slasher game is made by only one person. Before this video goes any further, just remember throughout the whole thing, this was made by one person, and one hell of a job they did with Bright Memory Infinite. Bright Memory was developed by Chinese developer Zeng, also known as FYQD or Zian Cheng, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, using the Unreal 4 engine in his spare time. Zeng first previewed the game's trailer way back in 2017 and then received financial support through Epic Games' Unreal Dev grants. Now, the game that these Google questions specifically refer to is Bright Memory, which is the previous game that was published back in January 2019. But after a little more digging, it said Bright Memory Infinite, which is the sequel released in late 2021 on PC and mid 2022 on consoles, is primarily made by one person. Which, the keywords being primarily, I can only assume that some of the assets are outsourced and maybe translation or sound engineers and definitely voice actors will be outsourced, but other than the obvious stuff that helped deliver this AAA looking game, I think Zeng needs to take one big pat on the back for carrying this project on his shoulders. After briefly covering the must-knows about Bright Memory Infinite, it all comes down to the most important part that people really care about, and that's, is the game any good and is it fun? Well, first off, my initial impression when booting on this game was it was janky, and it wasn't down to the gameplay or anything, but it was more the menu. The main menu was a little laggy for me when I booted it up the first time, and I'm not too sure why. I was running on a high-end i7 CPU with a RTX 3080 Ti graphics card, so it shouldn't have been an issue. It should have been more than capable, but when I restarted the game, it seemed to work fine. I'm not too sure why it was like that on the first time of booting it, but it was the same on the Steam Deck as well. When I booted it up for the first time on the Steam Deck, it was a bit janky, but then it went back to normal. The opening cutscene had a lot going on by setting the vague story that there was a mysterious black hole appearing in the sky, which we needed to find out what's going on by heading closer, which is practically the whole premise of this game. The game starts with the main character Shelia, who is from a military background, climbs into some form of rocket ship to get closer to the abnormal activities with a few interactive buttons to be pressed. Once Shelia crash lands, this is where the game kicks in instantly while you are being shot by two enemies from above. And at this very moment, shooting back for the first time, I thought, this game is going to be fun. In the crash landing scenario, the developer managed to show off how beautiful this game's scenery actually is, and with the first enemy encounter, it displays how fluent the combat system will be. The foundation laid was a great depiction of this game. Bright Memory's gameplay has it all. Shelia starts her journey with an automatic assault rifle, a pistol and a sword, which are all very capable weapons, and the best part about it is the sword is used as a melee attack. It's not a separate weapon where you have to equip just your sword. You can just go straight from shooting to slicing away at people. It is amazing. The combat is super fast paced, so having the ability to run and gun and slice enemies' limbs off with ease when you get too close to them is the ultimate badass feeling. If that doesn't get you hyped, then even better, Shelia can use the Force. Well, it's not really the Force, but using her exo armor skill, it is just like a gravity pull and push towards them, and you can completely obliterate your enemies. It is the Dark Force. That is the best way of describing it, is the Force. Naturally, more weapons are unlocked as you progress through this insanely chaotic story. The weapons are standard as you expect: assault rifle, pistol, sniper and shotgun. The weapons all do as they say on the tin, but also with some special ammo that can be toggled with a click of a button, which basically turns the weapon into something completely different. Not in a physical form, but definitely different in capabilities. The special ammo for the shotgun is fire rounds, which is perfect for these ancient soldier type enemies. The AR has tracking rounds. The sniper basically has sticky bombs and sticks to the enemies and blow up after about 3 seconds. The pistol, however, the pistol basically becomes a rocket launcher. It makes a massive blast at one shot. Bright Memory is one of the, if not the only game I have played where I tend to use every weapon that the game has to offer, and sometimes even in one combat section. I often found myself toggling through weapons non-stop during giant hordes, especially because each weapon has different efficiency to each type of enemy. There is also an upgrade system for different weapons and abilities, which is nothing fancy, but honestly it's very refreshingly simple. Many games have skill trees which have way too much going on and it's very daunting. Let's just say something like the Assassin's Creed games, for example, but this is super easy where it's just level 1 to level 4 on each different weapon, and it is super refreshing and it's super easy, and it feels more rewarding for people to level up than it does when you have a massive chain of things and you're making sure that you use your skill tree right and you only upgrade the things that you're going to use. That's really daunting. This is refreshing and it's super simple to do. I'm all for that. Maybe that's just me being a boomer, but I like it simple. From the clips that are going on the screen, if you are just admiring the combat, you might be thinking, what on earth is going on? And do you know what? I'm still thinking the same thing, and I've completed the game. Despite the odd small cutscene here and there, many of the dialogue takes place during the levels while the quick-paced combat is going on, so you don't really have much time to think about it or pay attention to anything other than the combat that's going on the screen. So I have no proper idea what is going on in the story, except that there's a big black hole there, there's crazy enemies coming at you. But what more do you need to know? From what I've gathered, one of the sets of enemies are a group of humans that are progressing towards the black hole to see what's going on, to collect some form of artifact, and the other is some weird undead Spartan looking warrior dudes with swords and shields. It's really confusing and you may be thinking that's random and bizarre, but you have no idea. The boss fights in this game are something else. I'm not going to show off many of the boss fights to avoid ruining the game for you, but some of them are just huge massive monsters that look so daunting to beat, but the gameplay is epic. It makes you feel more than capable of actually defeating these massive monsters. But don't worry, these giant boss fights isn't the end of the absurdity, but merely just a part of it. The game features a car mission where you have to escape while blasting other cars with rockets, jumping from boat to boat while killing enemies, stealth missions and grappling. But a bit that made me think, can this game get even better, is when you are fighting enemies on the wing of a plane and then having to jump over to the next plane. That scene right there was just the French kiss to summarize how perfect this game is, and I'm all for it. Bright Memory Infinite is extremely linear, which is great for me, but it could be a massive downside to many other people. Disappointingly though, the whole game can be completed in roughly 2 to 3 hours. It is crazy how much content is crammed in such a small game though. The game does have some replayability for achievement hunters like myself, but it doesn't really have too much replayability. I played it about 3 times, and if you think about it, I had about a total of 8-9 hours gameplay before I completed platinum this game, or got all the achievements, whatever you want to call it, for Steam. But the plus side is that is reflected in the price. At full price this game is only £15.49. I don't know what that converts to dollars, but I personally think it's worth it, and if you see this game on sale for less than £10, you're definitely getting your money's worth by how fun it genuinely is. It may be short, but it is fun, and that's really what matters with gaming. When making this video, it is August 2024, and Bright Memory Infinite is currently classed as unsupported on the Steam Deck, but it actually works great. I recorded a video for it, just a gameplay test on my second channel. I'll link that in the description below so you can check that out if you are interested. But to wrap this video up, I'm going to give it a review score, and I'm going to give this game a 8 out of 10. And honestly, I wanted to give this game higher because it is so much fun, but I think its super short playtime is a bit of a killer, and the short-lived story is a little letdown. The visuals are amazing, and the combat is insanely good. I would highly recommend this game. If you are new to this channel, I would like to ask you to nicely subscribe and like this video, because it really does help me out in the algorithms. If you like my style of reviews, go check out some of my other reviews. I kind of do a lot of different unique games. If you got any games you would like me to review, let me know in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. And I'm going to leave the video there, so I'm going to say it's Mark from Modern Tech. Thanks for watching.
Shell ya. We've confirmed the deployment of several military units to the scene. Be extremely careful.
Understood. I'll contact you again later.